Hey out there, legal warriors, revenge porn. Have you heard of that? Do you realize in Washington state that revenge porn in many cases is illegal, a gross misdemeanor or a felony? If you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Linwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington state for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. I'm just going to jump right into it. In the past, what we call revenge porn was not necessarily illegal. There wasn't a statute that really firmly covered it. There's lots of ways to get out of the other statutes that existed. And so the legislature a few years back passed a very specific law, very complicated law, very specific law called Disclosing Intimate Images. In this video, I'm going to cover what the definitions are of disclosing intimate images. I'm going to talk about what some defenses might be. I'm also going to talk about what you should do if someone discloses an intimate image of you, how to help the case get prosecuted. So moving right ahead, the law that we're talking about is RCW 9A.86.010, and I'm going to link to it in the description. It's a very complicated and detailed statute. Therefore, I'm not going to go through it word for word, because that would be a very long video. I'm going to go through basically what makes something illegal versus not being illegal. So I want you to think about it this way. The defendant or the person doing the wrongdoing has some type of intimate image of another person. And to even trigger the statute, the wrongdoer has to disclose the intimate image. What does that mean? That means transfer it in some way, somewhere. It could be uploading to Reddit or to Facebook or some file transfer protocol program, like in the old days when the more peer-to-peer was way stuff would get transferred. Or maybe it's even directly transferring to someone, right? Texting it to somebody, emailing it to somebody. So first there has to be a disclosure before we can even look at the statute. 2, well, the image also has to be an intimate image. What do you mean, Lance? I mean, we all know what an intimate image is. Well, we have an idea, but this is statutorily defined. An intimate image is basically some image of the sexual parts of the body. It could be the naked breasts, it could be the sex organs, it could be a sexual act. It's fairly broad, but it's not the clothed body. It's not like a bikini shot or something like that. And the catch is that for the image to be an intimate image, the person depicted in the image, that means the person who the photo or the video is of, has to be basically readily identifiable by the image itself or something directly connected to the image. So if there's a photo just of someone's breasts, a woman's breasts, and there's no head, there's no identifiable tattoos or something, and someone posts that online, if they don't say who that is and it's not related to somebody, it's not somebody's account, it's not, Miss Victim's account that it's sent on, right? If you log into Miss Victim's Facebook and upload it, well, they can probably guess it's her then. But if it gets posted just on Reddit with no other information, then that, while is terrible, it's not an intimate image because no one knows who that is. If you were to upload it to Reddit and say, this is Mrs. Victim, well, now that probably is an intimate image because you're identifying them, and now they can suffer the harm, right? And it's really hard for victims in this case when a naked photo gets sent somewhere, but it doesn't show who it is. And they're definitely violated because that's them. But the law doesn't necessarily recognize that violation as far as criminal law goes if other people can't tell it's them by just taking a look at the four corners of the photo or the video. So it has to be an intimate image. And then finally, still to get to this statute and to make something illegal, the sender, the wrongdoer, has to know certain things about the image, has to have a certain intent, and has to know certain things about what the victim would or would not have wanted. Basically, the person disclosing the image has to know or should know that the image was to remain private. This wasn't for public consumption. That one's usually pretty easy to meet. The sender also has to know that the person in the photo doesn't want it disclosed. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's the second thing. Doesn't want it disclosed, or you should know that they would not want it disclosed. And then the kicker is number 3, the sender also has to know or reasonably should know that disclosing that image is going to cause harm, that's broad, harm to the person depicted, the victim. So what a mouthful. Now, police officers just automatically think, oh, there's a naked picture, it must be disclosing intimate images. No, it's nowhere near that simple. There's some exceptions for kids sending certain images. There's exceptions of parents sending images about their own kids. There's exceptions for public displays where someone is purposely naked, like at the solstice parade or something. Those all can get excluded. And take a look at the statute. This isn't being put out for lawyers, it's being put out for the public. So I'm going generally what it's about. So if we're caught violating this, it's a gross misdemeanor, 1 year in jail max if it's a first offense, or a felony if it's a second offense. And we don't register as a sex offender on a first offense. On a second offense, I still don't think we do, but hopefully we never get there. So that is how the statute is defined. Now, what are we going to talk about next? Some defenses, right? Some defenses to this. You've already heard probably the most common defense that we have and we've used successfully is the image simply isn't an intimate image as defined. It didn't identify the person in the photo. It could have been anybody. There was no tattoo. There was no relation to who this was. It got posted to some random website and somebody found it. The person who it is recognizes the photo, but if no one else does, they are victimized for sure, but not under this particular statute. They're not. Another defense that we've actually used is, hey, I disclosed the image to prove something, right? I've seen cases out there where someone is having an affair, and then somebody gets caught in the affair and they deny there was ever an affair. So they're blaming one half and the one half of the affair who says there was an affair, and it was consensual. Goes, well, I have all these sex tapes. I'm going to show you that I have these sex tapes. And it was all consensual as a way sort of to defend themselves. So the purpose of that disclosure wasn't to harm. And therefore, there's a great argument that that is not a crime under the statute. That's another way you could defend. And obviously, some obvious ways would be, hey, this was never to remain private. Our lifestyle is that we share these images and that we share partners or whatever it is. That is also a possible defense among several others. So these are defendable. There are a few cases that are slam dunks, but if you're charged with this, don't necessarily assume that the state is going to be able to prove their case. Finally, what if, unfortunately, it's you? What if you have this intimate image, this private thing exposed? We're violated. We feel terrible. What do we do about it? Well, number one is we try to get a really good record of where it is, right? We need to take some screenshots, right? We need to preserve the evidence because the wrongdoer might take it down, right? And the police aren't going to go through heavy levels of search warrants to go track down something they can't see. So take some screenshots of what's going on. Be able to explain to law enforcement how somebody would know that is you. Explain to law enforcement how that was to remain private. Explain to law enforcement how you're harmed, what the intent of the wrongdoer is, and who do you think the wrongdoer is. Sometimes we don't know. I mean, I'm dealing with cases this week where we don't know who disclosed something. We have suspicions, but in criminal court, you got to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So also, get other people to look around, right? Look around. What else is there? If there's one image out there, maybe it's more than one. But motive is a big thing. You can also, if you're a victim, you can try to set up the suspect, right? Why did you do this? Why did you post this of me? They might say why they did it. Now you have proof they posted it, right? At least you can eliminate that part of it. So what you want to do is, if you're a victim of this, first of all, I'm sorry. But second of all, I want you to, think about what you're going to need to show and make it easy for the police to follow up on this. The police are learning it's not so easy. So I don't think all of these are really getting prosecuted like they used to because they're losing, right? Over and over again, I've seen cases not be successful. I'm a defense attorney, so, we defend people that law enforcement or prosecutors thought were a slam dunk because they just never read the statute. It's complicated. So Hopefully, no one has to go through this. It's the digital age; it's a sign of the times. And hopefully, you found this useful. If so, please like and subscribe. And if you need some help, feel free to reach out to my firm. We've been doing this more than 20 years. We'll identify a way forward, and hopefully, we could be there for you. Thank you.